Well, good morning, everyone. This is John Craig, and you are with us on this Monday morning, the second day of the week's edition of Let Us Reason Together. I'm glad you're here. And if you're catching us on the archive, I'm glad you're here as well. And if you enjoy what you're listening to today, we want you to give us a thumbs up. Would appreciate that. Also share it on your social media. We got some things on here that's worth sharing, in my opinion. So we're going to be talking about several different things. What are we going to be talking about? Well, we got some shower thoughts. We're going to continue with that theme and some weird and quirky news coming up, as well as the Torah portion, Brit Hadashah, and things that are happening in the news today, current events. So stay tuned today. So this show is based off of Isaiah 1:18, where it says, "Come now and let us reason together, says Yahweh. Though your sins are as scarlet, they will be as white as snow. Though they are red like crimson, they will be like wool." And this is where we sit down, reason out current events, cultural shifts, and of course, this week's Torah portion. And we can either push back or push through. Nevertheless, if iron does not sharpen iron, sparks will never fly, let alone ever get a fire going. And with a little heat and a good midrash, how will our hearts ever get soft and moldable enough to be transformed in the way that the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, wants us to be? And have a little fun along the way.
What did you say? What was all that? Can you read that again? I didn't catch it all.
You can rewind it. Just rewind it. Go back. All right. So, that voice, that voice in the distance. Where was that? Yeah, there he is. It's our own very own Cram. I'm going to bring Cram in, and there we go. There he is. There he is. Mark David.
I got my new private eye detective kit in the mail.
That's really weird. You have one big cyclops of an eye.
Well, that's my new private eye detective kit. See? And I'm detecting you.
Oh, okay. All right. And you know what? It reminds me of a song from the 80s. About private eyes, they're watching you. Okay,
nothing like a little Darryl Hall and John Oates to bring me alive, buddy.
There you go.
Let's sing it together. Private eyes
watching you. Yeah, you gotta have that clap. Boom, boom. Ah, very good. Yes,
I'm looking for Sandi.
I'm looking for her as well. And
are you?
And I'm looking for her. She's here.
Okay.
She's just not in the picture just yet. So we'll just have to bring her on here shortly. Okay. We might hear her voice in the background, but she'll be with us momentarily. So
was she clapping a while ago?
She was. That was her.
I know.
That's the only time that it's appropriate to hit yourself. Okay, that was from one of our weird and quirky shower thoughts from last week. Remember?
Okay. I do. I remember that.
Right. So, all right. So, Mark, I have to give you some leeway here, and
really?
we talked, because we've talked about where shower thoughts come from, and how the shower isn't just a place to sing, but where we're separated from our cell phones and standing under that running water that allows our minds to run free. And you said, well, you don't take a shower, you take baths. And can you have bath shots? And I said, I don't know if that counts. I found out something. It counts.
It counts.
Yes. So shower thoughts can be in the bath too. The bath
got to be in water.
No, actually, they can be random thoughts, like when you're just driving down the street.
And taking a shower while you're driving down the street, I don't get that.
I know, isn't that weird and quirky?
Yeah, really.
Okay, so
hey, to each his own. You're in a hurry, you got to get to work. You didn't take a shower, then take it in your car. Open your sunroof and pray for rain.
Yeah. Yeah, that works. When I lived in Houston, I'd see ladies putting on their makeup all the time, driving down the highways. So I guess showers would be the same thing. Just it's a time saver. Those bottles, you can get those bottles of water, like 5 gallons of bottle. You stick it on your roof.
That's it.
Drop it in through your window or your sunroof, whatever you have it. It can be solar heated, so it's heating up while you're driving. And then you just pour.
Sandy's always saying that you're coming up with these ideas and making things and detecting things, and taking stuff apart, and you're getting in trouble and those type of things. Just imagine if the two of us got together.
Yeah.
Sandy, awesome. That's what you need to be. You need to be thankful you have John Craig, because if the two of us got together, look out, buddy.
That would be a double portion inheritance for her.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen you guys get together briefly.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Sakote don't count. And by the way, I want to know that word leeway, is that another word for grace?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We ought you got to take the time sometime to play words not, like I do on my show.
Yeah.
Fun. Leeway. That's great.
It's also, my middle name is Lee, so it's
really
So it's leeway or the highway.
That sounds more like an ultimatum to me.
I just got to look. I got to look from the Sandi lady.
It's a Bourne ultimate. It's a John Craig ultimatum. It's the new movie, John Craig Ultimatum.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. So I didn't get a laugh out of her, but I did get a look. So anyway, and it's always good when you can still make your wife laugh. That is very, very important.
It's always good if you can get a look too.
That's not a problem. I can get looks.
Yeah, hey, she's giving me the look, so I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So, well, Mark, you should have let me know about the detective eye. Mm-hmm. I could have joined you with that, but
well, come on my show Wednesday. That would be Wednesday mornings. The Compass of Cram, right there. The Compass of Cram. Just come on that show with me and bring your detective kit. Your leeway detective kit.
All right. It's better than an Acme, I'll tell you.
Oh, I used to have Acme when I was younger, but I kind of grew out of it.
All right. Hey, okay. So now we've been discussing, these could have all been, shower thoughts, just so you know.
I thought they were.
Yeah, shower conversation. But hey, I got some things that we can actually talk about. Some things that I planned for. These are planned. That was off the cuff.
This is a family show and a religious show. You can't be saying stuff like shower conversations on a show like this. I'll have to go in and edit that part out. John, you can't say.
Okay, that would be an interesting thing.
Who's this?
Conversation in the shower.
Who's this? Is this the raccoon whisperer?
It could be.
Okay.
It could be. She is. Yeah. Yeah. Good morning, Sandi.
I'm completely entertained. I don't even need to be on the show. You two can just take it. If we need to have fun and just be uplifted, we just need to sit back and listen to you guys go off the cuff. That's all I got to say.
And see, I'm wearing a t-shirt. I don't even have cuffs. I could roll them up, but
hey, so Mark, I want to refer back to a conversation you and I were having, and it was on your show, The Compass of Cram, I think.
Yeah.
I think, or maybe it was after. It was the after show thoughts.
I found Sandi.
Or maybe it was after show thoughts from last week. I don't know. But this, okay. So you said something about as you get old. Did you find her yet? Do you see her?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you said something about as we age, it's good to have writing pads.
Well,
keep memory.
You might have joined two completely different thoughts into one. On that one, but
you did say that.
I thought you should.
No, he said pads. He did not say writing. He said that he needed pads.
We should use pads to help us remember.
Yes.
So I think they should.
I do remember that. So that's number 3 writing pad.
You didn't say writing though. You just said pad.
4 writing pad. Here's number 5 writing pad. Each one of them has their own use, but yes, you have to have them.
Okay,
you have to have pads, like you said.
Yes,
you need to have a detective kit to go along with it.
I think another you could call them by another name.
What?
As we age, you could call them depends.
Good reason I love you, John. Leeway. We're gonna start calling you Leeway.
It's the leeway or the highway. Okay.
New show you're gonna do a new show called The Leeway or the Highway?
That's right. Yeah. My dad's first name is Lee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. He goes by Dan, but his first name's Lee. I learned that growing up. It was the leeway.
Your mother and father are going to
listen. I guess at my house it was the Albert way.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. All right, here's a shower thought for you today. When you swim underwater, you're also swimming above water.
In the shower, you would be, or in the bath, you would be. I guess. But.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's just the first one. How about this one? Taking the first bite of a burger determines where the front of it is.
Unless it's at Wendy's.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How about this one? 5-second unskippable ads feel longer than 30-second ads that you can skip in 5 seconds. Okay. How about this one? When you're a kid, you don't realize you're always watching your moms and dads.
Also.
Yeah. Okay. I messed it. When you're a kid, you don't realize you're also watching your mom and dad grow up.
Oh, wow.
That was some shower thoughts. How about this one? Biting your tongue while eating is a perfect example of how you can still screw up even with decades of experience.
Biting your tongue?
Yeah.
Or
biting your tongue or your cheek while eating is a perfect example of how you can still screw up even with decades of experience.
Oh, I get it now. It took a little bit on that one, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about this one? I've woken up over 10,000 times and I'm still not used to it.
Is that like morning it comes awful early?
You're listening this morning.
I was not. I just heard Adina laughing in the other room and I had to come find out why. I heard her laughing and I thought, John and Sandi's on. Okay. So I turned on War Room Prayers here on my computer and backed it up a little bit so I could hear what you guys said, and then I went in there because I don't listen to War Room Prayers.
Yeah. So. See, oh, that was my last one. Oh, that was my last one.
I thought maybe I just cut everything off.
No. Okay, that's the last shower thought for today.
Those were pretty good.
Those were pretty good.
I like the one about depends though.
Okay.
Because that was an original thought.
That was original, and he went there. I think I told you about that because he uses writing pads during shows too, and he was that eye.
I'm sending you Morse code with my eye, and it's a subliminal message.
Oh, okay. Anyway, he was that immediately came to his mind when you said pads. He immediately wrote it down. Yeah,
depends. I know because I heard him. He interjected it to some way on my show on Wednesday, and that would be the Compass of Cram show, is what it was on Wednesday mornings, which John and Sandi and Amariah was all on last Wednesday, but it was mostly John.
it was mostly John.
Yeah, Amariah. Whew. All right. So, hey, here's the verse of the day from this week's Brit Hadashah. It's a Luke 11:20. But if I cast out demons by the finger of God, then the kingdom of God has come upon you.
Well, what is it? What do you do? Like give a preview of the Brit Hadashah portion every week?
I just
every
like
week that verse you give is out of the Brit Hadashah portion.
I know. I like it. I like pulling stuff out of Brit Hadashah. What can I say?
Oh, okay. Well, look for the Brit Hadashah portion today.
Yeah, coming up. You want to stay tuned. Here's some weird news going on. Colorado bank robber throws cash in air, shouting "Merry Christmas." What? Okay, so this is what happened. This is actually Reuters. Reuters out of England picked this up. I didn't hear it in our American news, but anyway, it says that David Wayne Oliver, 65, who, according to police and media reports, was arrested after allegedly robbing a bank in downtown Colorado Springs, then throwing the money into the air and shouting "Merry Christmas," is pictured in this booking. He's pictured in this booking photo released by the Colorado Springs.
Why would you say that when we're not looking at it?
All right,
because
I'm just reading
the screen.
Oh, okay. That's I guess that's the caption under the photo that was in the article, but I copied and pasted it.
Listen.
Have you got the picture on your computer?
No.
Oh, never mind.
No, it didn't copy. Maybe it didn't copy over or something. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, it says that a man with a white beard was being held on a $10,000 bond for allegedly robbing a Colorado bank and throwing the stolen cash into the air while shouting "Merry Christmas" to passerby, a police and local media report on Tuesday. So, this article, I don't know where it dates back. It goes back to December 24th. It says that, he was arrested at a nearby Starbucks coffee shop after he held up the Academy Bank in Colorado Springs on Monday afternoon. That's back in December, according to the police report. It said that he threatened the use of a weapon, and he left the bank with an undisclosed amount of cash. And when he stepped outside, he just threw the money in the air and he's yelling "Merry Christmas." And then he walked over to the Starbucks and sat down and waited to be arrested.
May I interject that
he had a white beard?
Make sure that people know this was still wrong. He shouldn't have done that. Whether or not he, said Merry pagan word, then it's still okay. I mean, it's still not okay. So.
Yeah, I agree. It gives thought that maybe they should outlaw Christmas.
That's the deal. That's the deal. I like that. They can just start with Christmas trees. What?
Then they won't have this problem.
Well, every year they can take away, like first year, it's illegal to have Christmas trees. And then the second year, it's illegal to give presents on December 25th, and every year just kind of, because if you did, oh my gosh, they could make a movie out of this. Say, for instance, they just banned Christmas altogether. You literally would have chaos around the world.
Yeah.
It would. It would take a one world government to do this. And oh my gosh, that would mean that the one world government has been established. And you know what that means, don't you? It means that that the end times is on the edge. It's the leeway into many other things.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Wow.
profound revelation, man.
That's a shower thought.
That's an idea. That's a good idea.
Wow, there you go. And I think the last thing they should, because it would be incremental, they should outlaw robbing banks with white beards, and then giving that money away, like this guy did. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
that might be the trigger point.
Well, maybe they'll just look suspiciously at anybody with a white beard.
That's right. At Christmas time, don't walk into a bank with a white beard, because they might suspect you as a bank robber.
Yeah, right. That's going to happen. Hey, I want to hear about Jonathan and this thing you guys were talking about this morning. That's news. That's bigger news than anything else.
Well, Jonathan called me, I believe it was Thursday. He says, Mom, he said, you need to be watching. I need you to look things up and watch. And I said, well, what are you what? He said, well, they let us know that TBN is coming and filming us. And he said, I am singing, and I'm going to be on TBN singing. And
so it's on their Wednesday worship service.
Wow.
So they're coming on Wednesday this week to film. And he said, he doesn't know the specifics yet of when it will be broadcast, but he wants us praying, of course, and watching. And, I think about this. Would he have ever gotten that opportunity to be on international media?
It's a way to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm just, not that it's about that, but Jonathan's heart is to minister. And I know when he does, Jonathan, well, you've heard him sing. Jonathan's voice is amazing. And he says there's this lady that comes into the services now, a pastor or the pastor's wife from somewhere. And when she sits there and he begins to lead worship in something or other, that she just begins to cry. And it's not him. I mean, it's the anointing upon him. But what a great opportunity. If they would even go beyond him singing and maybe talk to him for a few minutes, there's a huge opportunity for him to minister a word in season to the world. And we need to be praying that he's ready. I know he's ready. He can do it, but we want to be lifting him up in prayer on Wednesday for sure, because this is a big deal.
That's right.
It's huge. Right. Trinity Broadcasting Network, TBN.
Yeah.
Trinity Broadcasting Network. And now if it was owned by Catholics, it would be the Quadrinity Broadcasting Network.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to.
That's a shower thought for the day. Okay. Hey, so I'm gonna throw these in. We're gonna jump into the Torah portion real quick, but I gotta give you these headlines from around the world. Serious.
Headlines?
Headlines.
Oh, you're going to give headlines, and I'm going to tell you what the actual story is. Is that what?
Well, no, not this time. But we need to do that.
No, I think we should just do the first one.
Okay, all right.
I'm like, how do I say the story?
Okay, all right.
No, I'm not prepared. I still have a half a cup of coffee. No,
you can do it, Mark.
Just down it. Okay. All right. So the Miami Herald. This comes from Miami Herald. Man married, sentenced on the same day.
Say it again.
Man married, sentenced on same day.
Sentence. I'm sorry. I have a phone call.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So here's the next one from the Denver Post. Lafayette man ticketed after cat refuses to jog with him. From the Denver Post. Have you ever tried? We had a cat, Sandi, that we tried to teach how to walk on a leash. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Bubba. You know what he did?
He was a Bubba.
Whenever we tried to get this cat to walk with us, he just boom, and he'd fall on his side. He would just drag him.
And he was a big boy too. Yes. He was a big 20-pound cat.
Yeah. So all right. Would we have been ticketed?
Who knows?
I don't know. Okay. How about this from USA Today? Florida man dies after winning live roach eating contest. They did not tell him that roaches are not clean.
Oh, that is gross. Just picture those things crawling around in your mouth. Ugh.
Wonder if he swallowed
Or if
whole.
they were crunchy.
Swallowed whole.
Oh, that's so gross.
All right. How about this from the Tulsa World? Ugh. Federal agents raid gun shop, find weapons.
Oh, that's so ridiculous.
Good job.
Oh, that was good. I like that.
How about from the New York Times? Good smell perplexes New Yorkers. What does that tell you about New York City?
There's a good smell in the air. What's up?
There's like, it's not normal. And the last one, and this is from MSNBC, and I don't know if this is from Rachel Maddow, but who knows, because she has all sorts of fake news. But this is very interesting from MSNBC. Angry Nepali man bites cobra to death in revenge attack.
Revenge attack. That's the key to it right there. The revenge attack. So apparently that cobra did something to that guy.
I think it may have bit his brother or something like that. I don't know. There was something in there. And so he was getting back at him. Kill my brother.
Hey, I would have done it too.
Yeah.
Not if he bit my brother.
But I mean, that's what happens when you keep a pet cobra around. You just never know. All right. So Joe says, Joe here in the
has a headline.
Yeah, here's a headline. In Toledo, Ohio, robber robs convenience store and walks home in the snow. Cops follow the tracks all the way to robber house. Yeah, very smart.
Oh, that's a good one. I like it.
It wasn't snowing hard enough that day.
Hey, I have a real quick one. Look at this. Here, I'll put this up on the screen. What do you think of this?
Hey,
now we need that.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Coming very soon to your mailbox. Very soon.
Everybody needs to put those on your vehicles and let's get the world's attention.
Very soon. I'm working on getting them put together and how much they'll cost, and I'll get the word out.
Hey, I like that. I like that very much. And I think putting them on glass is much better than the bumper because it doesn't mess up your bumper.
Oh yeah, it was when we first got it, and I went out and put it on, and Adina says, "Well, I thought it was going to go on the bumper," and I go, "No way, that thing would be chipping off of there and everything." I have had that thing on the back window of our glass for a few weeks now, and it stayed. I mean, stayed real well. So it's well made. It's very good. So
yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Cool.
I like the logo. The logo is pretty cool. I like it. Okay.
Well done.
We need to do that for us.
Yeah.
You should. Let me get you this person. Actually, the person's in Texas. So let me get you that information.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. All right. Well, Sandy, you've got some things on the Torah portion?
Well, I have 7 minutes.
Okay.
6 minutes. Yeah. So I have a short Torah portion thing. So because you left me 6 minutes.
Oh, you can how much time do I get for the
stay on schedule? So I have 6 minutes. So I'm going to focus in on something just as an encouragement, and it is Exodus 7:1, and it says, "Then Yehovah said to Moshe, see, I make you as God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron shall be your prophet." As God to Pharaoh. Those words are pretty they paint quite a picture as God to Pharaoh. Now, officially it's Elohim. It's Elohim. And if you look up Elohim, it's number 0430. Of course, it means ruler, judge, divine one, gods. And you say, why would he say that? Well, we understand that Elohim can be pagan as well as deity, but it all depends on the context. But Moshe and Aaron were playing roles like Yahweh and the Messiah, God himself. There's God and his mouthpiece. And I want you to think about that with this question. Are you God's mouthpiece? Are you Yehovah's mouthpiece, Yahweh's mouthpiece? Because Aaron or Aaron did all the talking, and who talked on this earth for the God manifest on this earth? Yeshua talked for God, was the word. He is the word. He's the living word. We understand that. But we have this role of Moses and Aaron being these mouthpieces, being as God. And then you say, well, what in it? Why does it say you are God? Well, we've got to understand this Hebraic concept. Let me pull it up here so I don't get it wrong. It's called the Hebraic law of agency. And it means the main point is expressed. A person's agent is regarded as the person himself. Okay. So the agent is sent to do the will of his commissioning superior and is regarded as the superior himself. So think about that. Moshe and Aaron were representing God. Well, and they did all of this talking, they had God's words in their mouth. And you say, well, what makes you think that? Because the word is divine, and it comes from Yahweh himself. Now, if Moses acted as God to Pharaoh, and then there were judgments that came forth that he spoke. He was God's mouthpiece here on earth. He represented God. God was the commissioner to Moses. Where does that fall for you and I? Because so often some of the things I hear when people are, they have the opportunity to minister to somebody. Well, I'm not very eloquent. Wow. Have we heard that before? I don't know that I would have the words to say. I don't have enough Bible knowledge, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you and I have been appointed as agents to Yahweh. You and I have been appointed as his mouthpiece and his hands and feet. In fact, that's what it says. Yeshua is the head and we are his hands and feet. We are the body of Messiah. And thus we have the position to show forth Yahweh and his power, Yahweh and his words to the world, to Egypt, to Mitzrayim, that's all around us. Yet we come up with the same excuses that Moses had. Well, maybe I can't speak right, or I don't know the words. Well, let me tell you, if we are walking in the Spirit and we say, I want to be fully immersed, filled up with the Holy Spirit every day so that I can walk in power, then Yahweh, through his Spirit, they're putting the words in our mouth. Then our steps are ordered of Yah. If we're giving every day to him, we are his representative. We are part of that Hebraic law of agency. And we need to be mindful of that in everything we do and not hesitate and not wait the moment we have an opportunity to pray, to speak, to minister. If something comes on our heart as we see or look around us to a stranger or even to someone we know, we need to be ready in season and out of season. How do we do that? We make sure we're daily filled with the Spirit because we represent God to the world, to Pharaoh here right now, to the people around us. And you can say we are as God. Not that we are gods. I'm not saying that, but we are his representatives. Therefore, we cannot remain silent or have our excuses in our pocket ready to pull out as to why we go about our daily lives just doing our thing. Because our lives, if we give them to him each and every day before we put our feet on the floor, our life should be about him, Therefore, our steps are ordered of him, and he has equipped you. When you're full of the Spirit, full of his word with Yeshua, he has equipped you to accomplish everything that you need to, so that the world can see his miracle power, so that the world can hear his words, just as Pharaoh. And then they will know who the real God is, Yahweh our Elohim, Yeshua, who reigns. And so that is my encouragement. When it says that Moses says, as God to Pharaoh, since we are part of the body of our Messiah, Yeshua, we need to fulfill that same role in the world, because the world is always looking for the supernatural. The world is looking for words of truth, and you may be the only one in that area at that time that can literally cause the chaos to cease, because you have the words of God on your mouth and the action, and you're ready to take up his cross. You're ready to do what he's called you to do. So,
All right, cool.
My minutes are up. I actually went 1 minute over.
Oh,
Mm.
oh,
Cuts
so,
into my minute.
yeah, right. It cut into
Somebody
the
cut
news.
into most of my minute.
Oh. Hey, so Mark, what are your thoughts there on this Torah portion? Sandy brought up some really good things.
Well, one of the most used, when you're talking about this subject, the most used scripture is to be ready in season and out. And Sandy used that. But one of the least used scriptures, which says basically the same thing, but adds to it. Now, Adina and I used to make up T-shirts for our ministry once we became Messianic and we were just on fire and we were doing all kinds of stuff. We used to make up these individual T-shirts and sell them. And one of the ones that we had Luke 12:35 on it, which says, "Be dressed ready for service and keep your lamps burning." So, you need to be ready in season and out. And on top of that, how can you be ready is to be dressed ready for service, have your armor on, and keep your lamps burning, because as we know, when those lamps start burning down, we actually get tired. And one of the teachings I heard one time about like the 10 virgins, and part of that was that the lamps burned down. It starts, when the lamps are on full fire, the fire is going, it's bright and you're awake. But when lamps start burning down and the oil starts burning down, it gets darker and darker and darker. And if you're not attentive to it, it's just like life itself. If we're not attentive to our walk with the Lord, then that darkness kind of starts creeping in to the point where we're not as attentive to our service. And so keep your lamps burning, keep the oil going into them, keep your fire going, because then it's bright, then you're awake, then you're attentive to everything. But once that fire starts burning down and it starts getting darker and darker, you start getting sleepier and sleepier, and you're no longer attentive to your service. So be dressed ready and keep your lamps burning is my addition to what Sandy had to say.
Yeah, that's good. And Sandy, you were talking about Aaron and Moses being God's mouthpiece and being the very word or the agent of God, so to speak. And I just thought that was very interesting, because didn't Yeshua say this, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father? And so in one essence is when you're talking and you're the mouthpiece, are people seeing God? Are people Not that we're God, but are they seeing God? And that's the whole purpose there, is the revelation of God coming forth. And what you're saying, Mark, is that light's got to come out. Yeah. And it's about that whole thing. You know, I deal in insurance. I'm not an agent. And of course, as an adjuster, I'm still a representative of that insurance company. And if I'm horrible at customer service, then my customer who is going through a difficult time, they've had their car wrecked or whatever, if I don't do a good job or I don't treat them fairly, I am that insurance company. And I could be the very reason that person switches insurance companies. And so it's being that agent is very, very important. Not that we shouldn't feel a lot of pressure. We just need to be who we are. God created us to be that mouthpiece. So when we're ready, in season, out of season, whatever, is that we reflect him. We might be the very reason why people don't come to Yeshua, I guess, on the other side of things. Kind of sobering. It's a sobering thought.
And even people that are already following the Lord, I mean, look at the difference between Christianity and walking in the Messianic lifestyle. You could be just yourself in front of a Christian, but they might be susceptible to want to know more about Torah and that lifestyle. But if you're in a negative attitude, they're not even going to be interested at all.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. So, and I think there's been a lot of harm done for those that have entered into the Messianic lifestyle in exuberance. Not that the exuberance is wrong, but the way they came across and they presented that message has turned many people away from knowing the depths of what the Torah is really all about. And it probably has caused a knee-jerk reaction, New Testament only, believers that are out there. So anyway, Sandi, thank you for bringing that. Sandi's still in the room. She just kind of stepped aside for right now, but
she's giving you some leeway.
Giving me some leeway. It's the leeway today. So, all right. Hey, so let's talk about some news.
You want an intro?
Yeah, we got an intro. Sure.
It's the same intro. Here we go.
All right. So here is the article. We've got all these different things going on in the news right now, and I would love to talk about what's happening in Virginia. Big things are happening. That's an article that needs to be followed up with after today's events. So pay attention to what's going on in Virginia. By the way, it can be nation changing. So many things are happening could tell us which direction this nation is going to go, and it's hinging upon today. So stay tuned what's happening there. But today is also, though it's a national or a federal holiday, it's the day before the impeachment hearings in the Senate began. And so this is what I wanted to bring up. And this is from the Gateway Pundit. It says, what the media won't tell you is that Bill Clinton, charged of 11 felonies and impeachable offenses, Trump accused of 0 felonies and 2 non-crimes. And this is from Jim Hoft over there at the Gateway Pundit. And it's very short. It just simply says this: the Trump impeachment sham is unique in a number of different ways compared to previous impeachments, and most notably because no crime was committed or defined. President Trump is accused of 2 offenses. Neither is a crime. Article 1, abuse of power, which is broad and undefined non-criminal action. And Article 2, obstruction of Congress, not a crime and completely made up charge. Now compare that to the Clinton impeachment trial in 1998. Bill Clinton was accused of 11 separate felonies and impeachable offenses. The Starr report presented on September 9th, 1998 presented 11 impeachable offenses. Bill Clinton was eventually charged because he, quote, willfully provided perjuries, false and misleading testimony to the grand jury, unquote, and, quote, corrupt efforts to influence the testimony of witnesses and to impede the discovery of evidence, unquote. And so that's witness tampering. So the Starr report cited 11 specific possible grounds for impeachment in 4 categories: 5 counts of lying under oath, 4 counts of obstruction of justice, 1 count of witness tampering, and 1 count of abuse of constitutional authority.
Reiterate, this is Bill Clinton.
That was Bill Clinton, 1998. So that was 20 years ago. And now the House has set this thing up against President Trump. Neither of the offenses are crimes. Neither of them are true. And, of course, abuse of power is broad and undefined non-criminal action. I mean, what is abuse of power? Look at what Barack Obama did and all of his executive orders. Those were abuse of powers where they mandated law through the executive branch, which did not go through the House or the Senate. They did not become law. He just ordered it. And then when Trump nullified those things because they weren't law, then Trump, what they've done is they send it to the federal court, and a federal judge says he can't change Barack Obama's executive orders that were unconstitutional. So talk about abuse of power from the judicial branch, talk about abuse of power from Congress, who has actually been the ones that have been making up these charges against President Trump. They're the ones that are actually in the position of abusing their power and trying to take power over the administrative branch of government. And of course, obstruction of Congress is not a crime. And President Trump didn't do anything except, wait a minute, Congress is demanding this information. I want the court to decide if they can even ask or require this information. And because he wanted to go through the courts, which is the proper way to do it, they are charging him as obstructing their investigation, obstructing Congress. So Bill Clinton, however, 5 times lied under oath, 4 times obstructed justice, 1 time tampered with the witness, and 1 time abused his constitutional authority. So that's today's news article. I wanted to put that on the table and get your thoughts on it. Mark, I want to bring you back in. What do you think about all this fine information?
I did not have relation. Wait, I don't know. I'm just trying to remember back here. I guess that's a quote that we don't want to hear, I guess.
No.
And what is the definition of what was the word that he couldn't define? I can't remember.
What? It depends how you define what is. Is
right. Exactly.
Yeah. So
that's how absurd all of this is to me. That's my input on this, is that it's all absurd, and we need to give Trump some leeway.
Yeah, absolutely. And of all the people, there's one person that's on President Trump's defense there in the Senate is Ken Starr, who was the prosecuting attorney there for the Bill Clinton impeachment trial. And so Ken Starr is going to be defending President Trump. And they're saying that the reason that he's coming in is to make sure that the procedures are properly followed, and also to probably relate how President Clinton actually did crimes. And
he won't be able, if he was his defense attorney, he won't be able to do that.
No, Ken Starr was the prosecuting.
Oh, the prosecuting. Okay.
Yeah. And so he's just trying to make sure there's a sheer balance of what's going on in the Senate to make sure that President Trump's rights are protected.
All I can say is this is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's stupid.
Absurd.
And it's absurd. And it is time. I'm sorry. It's time we shut those people down, that God shuts them down, because let them be president. There was when Barack Obama was rewriting the Constitution and doing his own thing and playing the executive branch, the judicial branches, when he was being Congress and the Supreme Court all together as one, so to speak, not literally, but deciding to be the end-all king of this country, doing whatever he wanted, there were no voices that rallied beyond in such hate and in such made up stuff. Yeah, there were voices that said, hey, this shouldn't be happening. But the country didn't rise up in rebellion and evil as it does now for President Trump. And it is time that the evil forces that are working through Pelosi and others just like her, it is time that they fall into the traps that they've presented, and it's time they are brought down. That's all I can say. I'm so tired of the evil. It's time that because all they're doing, all of this is happening because Trump's about to expose them for what they are, and they want to, their sleight of hand. If I can get you to focus here, then what I'm doing over here is okay. It is time, as you said many times before, how do you make millions and millions of dollars when you're on a salary of XXX all of a sudden when you go to Washington?
Yeah. It's not illegal for them to have insider trading in Washington. So.
Who is it that can't see the timing of all of this? I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, here we getting ready for elections, and what do they want to do? I mean, for the past 6 months, and now even into 2020. By the way, do you notice this is 1/20/2020 today? Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything, but it's kind of cool. I think we should reelect Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. I mean, after all,
he was a decent president.
Well, they put dead people vote all the time. Yeah. So why not just bring a dead president in?
Well, as for me, I love having a president that's not a politician. All his imperfections. I like it. And I want him to be able to finish what he started without all these silly made up obstacles.
Well, the next question is this: has it been orchestrated to where the timing with Nancy Pelosi holding back on the sending the impeachment over to the Senate to the point it was delayed to where it was released this last week to where the trials begin this week, which would happen to coincide with the pro-Second Amendment rallies going on today in Virginia, to where there is a possibility, and they're just saying this, multiple people are saying, I think it was all over the mainstream media, where they're talking about that this whole event could go awry. There could be false flags going on. There could be people shot, killed.
Well, that's why we pray.
Riots
we're praying.
Yeah, we're praying.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, right. But that this thing could really blow up out of proportion to where the left will say, oh, see how evil the right is and all this sort of thing when they're the ones that instigated it. But it's all happened at the same time as the impeachment hearings. It's to cast a bad light upon anybody that would be a Trump supporter during this time period.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is let's not put it out there. Let's let Yah show his hand and make them all look like fools that have tried to do this. Let's not rehearse the bad. Let's stand up and speak things that are not as though they are, instead of getting in there and saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, we need to be aware. That's why we need to pray. And that why we need to declare his word and say, no weapon formed against President Trump, no weapon formed against God, those that love Yahweh shall prosper. None. And every tongue that's risen up against them, we condemn in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. But that's our heritage. Period. Let's come up, just as I said at the beginning, let's act as God to Pharaoh.
Good point.
All right. Like it. Good deal. All right. Well,
even if God does come in and show this to be all as absurd as it is, they'll just spin that. They'll spin God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and that's what causes us to go into the next phase of Armageddon and all of that is spinning God.
Yeah. I got a survey this last week from President Trump's campaign. And of course, it doesn't always allow for a comment, but if it allows for a comment, I always put comments in. And I said in my comments, All right. Now it's time to no longer delay. They've gone after everybody that's been not everybody, but a number of top pro-Trump supporters and indicted them on and convicted them on and even sentenced them on these made up charges. When's it time that they're going to go after these other people that have actually committed treason and sedition against the president of the United States? Those in the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, in the Congress, in the Democrats, all of these leaders, Hillary Clinton, and the mainstream media that continue to perpetuate the lies. When are they going to actually go after them? And I said in my comment, I said, it's time now that you pull the plug and do something, because the American people need to see true justice, not a two-tiered justice system out there. And this is where we're at. This is where we're at in our country. And I think one of the key aspects about what's going on today in Richmond, Virginia, is that people are concerned that it could truly be the kickoff of a civil war in the United States, because people are tired of this two-tier justice system. They're going after
What do you mean by two tiers?
Well, they're going after President Trump for non-criminal acts.
They let the criminals go.
And yet President Clinton, who had all sorts of charges, they just dropped them on him. Hillary Clinton, who had over 33,000 emails that were, many of them were, they were all on her server
to other countries.
They're on her server, and they were classified that she had on her server, that she was allowing people to get into her server to get those emails, passing on state secrets, selling 20% of the nation's uranium to the Russians, and all of this. Why aren't people like this being brought up on charges? Why are these things being swept under the rug? Why are they saying that these are non-issues? And yet someone forgets exactly the details of what happened sometime during the Trump campaign, and they're being charged with lying and being thrown into prison for up to 20 to 50 years, like what's
for
happened.
Nothing.
Yeah, for what's they want to do to Roger Stone. Didn't get quite the facts straight, so they said he was lying. And so why this two-tier justice system? Why are they going after these people? And it's time for true justice to take place within the swamp here in the United States. And I call the swamp people. The swamp people are those that are just muck and mire, full of corruption. So anyway, there you go. Well, that's my 2 cents.
You took 3 minutes of Mark's time.
No. But you took 1 minute of mine, so he's actually less too.
You took 14 of mine. So there.
Who's counting anyway?
I am.
Are we taking my time right now?
Yeah, right. So stop. Yeah. Hey, Mark, it's your turn.
It's my turn?
Your turn.
Do you want to talk about the Brit Hadashah?
Brit Hadashah. Yeah, what have you got for us today?
What have I got? I've got the Brit Hadashah. What we have is in the Torah portion Va'era, Luke 11:14 through 22. And as I was reading and kind of going over this, I think you should have verse 23 in there also. Now, I like to go to Torah Portions .org and torahportions.ffoz.org. I like their format, and they put things out there, make it real easy. But I don't know what version they use. It doesn't read right. So I'm going to be reading out of the Complete Jewish Bible, and I'm just going to read through it. Luke 11:14 through 23. He was expelling a demon that was mute. When the demon had gone out, the man who had been mute spoke, and the people were astonished. But some of them said, it is by Beelzebub, that the ruler of the demons, that he expels the demons. And others, trying to trap him, demanded from him a sign from heaven. But he, Yeshua, knowing what they were thinking, said to them, Every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, with one house collapsing on another. So if the adversary too is divided against himself, how can his kingdom survive? I'm asking because you claimed as by Beelzebul that I drive out the demons. If I drive out demons by Beelzebul, by whom do your people drive them out? So they will be your judges. But if I drive out demons by the finger of God, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. When a strong man who is fully equipped for battle guards his own house, his possessions are secure. But when someone stronger attacks and defeats him, he carries off the armor and weaponry on which the man was depending and divides up the spoils. Verse 23, those who are not with me are against me, and those who do not gather with me are scattering. Now, John and Sandi, real quick, bring you back in real quick. This whole thing here, what I just read, who would you say were the most blessed people of this whole deal?
Well, of this whole deal, the one that received the deliverance, I think.
Well, I get that. Okay, besides that, then it would be the people who were astounded, who were marveled by this. In other words, these people, they saw what Yeshua did. They were like happy about it and everything. Then you have people that come up and want to question him and divide him and figure out, oh, was it by the devil or was it by God that you did it? And they wanted to divide between themselves and all of this. And what you have here is people that want to take it so far. They want to take their own religion so into detail and try to figure all this stuff out, when in fact the people that saw this and were marveled by what Yeshua were doing, they got a blessing because they saw Yeshua for who he was. And that stood out to me in this whole thing. Now, when it to me, I see, my thought process anymore, because I've been going to a church for the past 7-8 months, is that I'm now re-seeing some things that I had not seen before. And it has to do with the perception. Now, we talk about our lives, and we live what I say is a Messianic lifestyle. And then you have Christians that live a Christian lifestyle, and you have Jewish people that live a Jewish lifestyle. And each one of them being involved fully in who they are, they see things from that perspective and are so heavy with this perspective from this lifestyle that they don't look into the other. And let me just use a word, and I'm fixing to kind of teach on this here pretty soon, is the culture. I interviewed Dan Juster one time, and he told me that those that are Gentiles, that are not Jews in the Messianic Jewish lifestyle, they are welcome to look at the Jewish culture and, enjoy the Jewish culture. But they weren't really supposed to be living that lifestyle, the Torah lifestyle. And so now that gave me a whole new perspective, that ever since I've heard this, I think now you have Christians out there that don't know about us, but as Messianic Jewish, but they do know about Jews, and for the most part are not supposed to be negative towards Jews, but it's still more like those Jews. And when they read the scriptures with the Jews in there, they see it from their Christian perspective, which is, oh, how we wish they would be happy like we are with Jesus. And then you see the Jews, which are like, well, we really don't care what you're doing. We're Jews and we don't want to even see you. But when we talk about Christians, we use derogatory words. Now, this is my perspective. This is what I notice. And within the Messianic lifestyle, most of us, I would say probably from my perspective, 97% of everybody that's living our lifestyle comes out of the Christian lifestyle. And so we have a pretty good perspective of that, but we had to learn the Jewish culture. We had to learn the Jewish dance, the music, what Torah was, how they perceived Torah, what the difference, like what I'm doing right now and talking about the Brit Hadashah. How does the Brit Hadashah work with Torah and all of that type of thing? So we're building in the Messianic lifestyle a new culture. And when you're looking at this Torah portion, you're looking at, for instance, the people who marveled over the demon that was cast out of this man. These people are ones that they sit back and everything is groovy, but it's groovy from my own culture. Whereas then you have some that say it's the demons that he cast out. Well, I see that as Christians because that's what they think of as demons, or that's their culture, is the casting out of demons. You don't see that within the Jewish culture. Have you ever heard of a Jew casting out a demon? Not today. You don't, but you hear it in Christianity all the time. And then you have the ones that demanded a sign from heaven. Now, to me, that sounds like the Jewish culture. And so you have right here in this Brit Hadashah the division of the two, and then Yeshua in the middle talking about how you can protect yourself under the armor of God, and all that we learn through the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation, and you combine the two, you now have all of this to protect you and what you know and your household and everything. But then there's someone that comes along and attacks you, and you allow that person to attack you and take your spoil and divide up the spoils. How many people are there that go against the Jewish people and their culture, and the Jews know more about the Christian culture than they do, and the Christians allow themselves to even deny Yeshua? So then verse 23, those who are not with me are against me, and those who do not gather with me are scattering. This is a concept that we need. All three of the cultures, the Christian culture, the Messianic culture, and the Jewish culture, if we would incorporate Yeshua's teaching on you either gather or you scatter, if we would understand that and incorporate that into our lives, we could bring the three cultures together and work together. Doesn't mean you have to give up your culture, but you could work those together. And that's my perspective on this.
Yeah, good, Mark. Appreciate that. It's really interesting in this passage, and you were kind of alluding. You didn't say this, but this came into my mind. Facebook. This is like Facebook, where you have the Torah groups, the Messianic Torah groups, the Hebrew roots Torah groups, and they're just dividing. They're fighting over, well, it means this. No, it means that. And I think it's this. Well, I'm going to defriend you. You can't be part of us because you don't see it the way I see it. And you see these big old long strings of comments and arguments that are going on of division. The same division, the very thing that Yeshua is warning against is that a kingdom divided against itself is laid waste, and a house divided against itself falls. It's like what could happen in Virginia today could be a kickoff to civil war in the United States. Some say the civil war has already started, but it's the dividing of the kingdom, dividing people, dividing cultures, dividing ways of life, dividing, you're this way, so therefore you can't be part of us. And instead of trying to find a place to harmonize and to agree upon and let that be the launching point. And I get this thing about the perspective. Everybody wants to hold on to the perspective that they're right. I don't, Yeshua is just saying, look, if we're supposed to be believers, then we need to unite under one, even though there might be one, it's one tent, one body Messiah. The points of division are not major points if Yeshua is in the center of it all. And I know that's just kind of my thoughts on that. Besides all the power play on it, but
if you don't mind, perspective is I use that to validify what I'm saying, but really what it comes down to is culture, because now just think of that word culture. It incorporates your lifestyle. It's what you do. Now we use the word life, our life this, life that, when in fact it's a lifestyle. And if you'll see the Christian culture, the Messianic culture, and the Jewish culture, and stop and think about those things, if we would stop trying to say, I'm right and you're wrong, but take the time to look at the cultures, we would see that they're basically kind of the base thing is the same. We're all using the same Bible. I mean, even most Jews have the New Testament in their Bible. They have the Bible. I mean, the Christians have the Jewish part of the Bible. Okay. If we would look at culture instead of right and wrong, and take the time to bring that together, because that's what Messianics are supposed to do. We come out of the Christian culture and we're learning about the Jewish culture, because that has to do with Torah and it's the whole Bible. So to me, that's what Yeshua is talking about, is gather, don't scatter.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot better. Culture really helps define it. It really does, because perspective means, someone can be right or wrong, but culture means this is a lifestyle. I mean, how many things have we done that we've adopted that Christianity didn't have? The feast days, the Shabbat, Zeets, all of these different things. And, they look at it as Jewish, and we're saying, no, it's Bible. And that the Jews can't accept us for doing that because we have to convert all the way to Judaism if we're going to do those things. I mean, I listened to this one guy, and the only reason I listened to him is because of cultural perspective, but his perspective is only a Jew can teach the Torah. You have to convert to Judaism to be a teacher. And so I'm like, that's not right. But I want to know what they're thinking, because I need to know that so I can always have an answer for and a defense and apologetics for my faith. And so that's really good, Mark. I really like that.
Why did we lose Sandi? I wanted to hear what she had to say.
Oh, she's dealing with the cats. Dealing with the cats. The cats were starting to get very active there for a second. So
yeah,
I got one right here in my.
Yeah, I know.
Here we go. And the other one was looking for her. So, well, good discussion today. I appreciate that. One of these days, I'm just going to leave this on a cliffhanger, because I have some things, and it's really a culture thing. And I'm going to give you a teaser, and that is, I'm going to go back here, 13 strange etiquette rules from around the world. Maybe we can bring that in next week. These etiquette rules. Are they right or are they wrong? So
got to do with culture.
Yeah. Hey, so anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this week. I do want to mention this, and Sandi and I pastor Life of Worship here in Amarillo, Texas, and we are hosting Halissa Alwine this weekend. And so I'm excited. She'll be here Friday on a Rev Shabbat for our evening service, and we'll be putting that up on YouTube Live at approximately 6:30 on Friday. Well, 6:30 is when the service starts. And then she'll also be speaking at 2:00 and 5:00 Central Time here in Amarillo at Life of Worship. And I'm excited about that. That's going to be so Friday and Saturday coming up. And y'all can go to our website, Life of Worship, www.lifeofworshipamarillo.org for some more information. There's a shameless plug. And by the way, I want to let y'all know, it is Tuesday evening, Walking in Spirit and Truth. Sandi and I have a show that we do. And then the Compass of Cram on Wednesday morning, same time slot. And on the same time slot on Thursday is the next chapter. So y'all want to stay tuned for those shows as well. Sandi hosts that. So, well, Mark, thank you very much. Appreciate your input today. Very good discussion. And we're missing Darryl again today, but he's got work. So he's grateful to have that type of income. Sandi, I appreciate you being here with us today, in and out of the picture, but appreciate your input and what you put together for us. Thank you so much. For those that are listening, share it on your social media and give us a thumbs up. We appreciate that. And until next time, we're going to have to say shalom.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.